Hello everyone, my name is Neeraj Kumar and I'm here to talk about what is risk management and how it is changing the way of business of the particular organization which is selected for this case study. Let's move on to the presentation now. So what is risk management? The risk management word has been introduced in 1920s and then the articles and books starts to appear in the library in the early 1950s. So most of the risk management research is into the finance and insurance. So as you can see, if you split the word risk management, the first risk is defined as a possibility that an event will occur that unpleasantly disturb the achievement of an object. So when you try to address the impacts of the risk, the management comes into the picture. The management comprises four phases to predict the damage that could occur by the risk. So identification is the first phase, and then followed by analysis of the risk and evaluating the risk and providing the measures to the risk, which means treating the risk. So repeating the process in an agile manner to achieve the best risk management policy for the organization. The company I selected for this case study is Fujitsu, a Japanese multinational information and communication technology equipment and service corporation. It's a big name, right? Yeah. So which is established in 1935 and headquartered in Tokyo, which make it one of the oldest operating IT companies even after the IBM and before Hewlett Packard, so under the name of Fujitsu Telecommunication Equipment and Manufacturing. So here, let's see some interesting fact about the company's establishment. After the Second World War, the Japanese communication systems had completely collapsed and they went into the edge of extinction. So, Fujitsu Suzuki Manufacturing Co. Limited helped rebuild Japanese telecommunication infrastructure and helped recover the Japanese economy from the mass destruction. So they constructed the Japan's first practical relay type automatic computer called FECOM 100. So under the guidance of the professor Hideo Yamashita at the University of Tokyo. And then they gathered and constructed the organization called Fujitsu is the world's sixth largest IT service provider by annual revenue and the largest in Japan in 2021. There is an estimation of assets value of Fujitsu as 3.1 trillion in yen in Japanese currency. Yep. So the industries they are into: computer hardware, cloud computing, telecommunication, data storage, consumer electronics, everything. So here the hardware offering from Fujitsu are mainly personal and enterprises computing products. And moreover, the Fujitsu has approximately the 1,26,400 employees and its products and services are available in approximately 180 countries. It's amazing, right? Yeah. Which name a Fujitsu under the Fortune 500 company as one of the world's most admired companies. So this is the reason I just selected this company for my risk management case studies. Let's have a look into the Fujitsu risk management structure. The Fujitsu Group builds and operates a group-wide risk management system to identify, prevent, and mitigate a variety of potential risks or prevent their occurrence, including issues related to climate change and environmental pollution. The highest level of risk management is a board of directors, then followed by the risk management and compliance committee, which reports directly to the board of directors, has set up a regional risk management and compliance committees. In addition to deploying these committees to each Fujitsu division and group company in Japan and overseas, wish to build a structure where these organizations cooperate to promote risk management and compliance throughout the Fujitsu group. Yep. Let's dive into the risk that Fujitsu faces every year. In terms of, we can say, preventing potential risk and responding to the risks that have emerged. Yep. So far, Fujitsu made an official focus on 33 risks considered to be an important to the group. The first risk and measures associated with the transition to low carbon economy. So here are the impacts of the risk. The first is a legal risk, which means the implementation of the stricter regulations for the greenhouse gas emissions and the carbon tax creates a risk of increasing the energy cost incurred by the Fujitsu group, and followed by the technology and the market risk. unrecovered investments and market shares decline and losing business opportunities of the product and services do not meet the energy saving performance needs. And followed by the reputation, yeah, that's also in a picture. Decline in corporate value and an increased response cost associated with a negative assessment from the stakeholder, which is causing a reputation of Fujitsu. Here the Fujitsu has a couple of measurements for this risk. The first is continual reduction of the amount of greenhouse gas emissions and enhance development of the energy efficient products and by using energy efficient enabling technologies, and followed by the group of the team, they're working towards the best goal to achieve a net zero CO2 emissions by 2050, and also manufacturing the zero carbon emission consumer electronic products. That's what their main goal. Let's move into the second category of the risk and measures associated with climate change related risk in the supply chain. The Fujitsu splitting the supply chain into the upstream and downstream supply chain. The impacts of the climate change related to risk in the supply chain, a temporary suspension of suppliers' business activities due to the occurrence of the severe natural disasters such as large-scale floods, sudden heavy downpours, lightning strike, which affect the procurement of the material. So how they're addressing these risks? They're conducting the trend surveys and the risk assessment of the environment labeling scheme and implementing to procure a material from the multiple sources instead of procuring the materials and from the single source. Yeah. Let's move on to the third risk associated with accessing and monitoring of the potential water risk. So here, this risk, in the recent years, the Fujitsu group affected by the potential water risk, which cause rainfall on the scale occurs about once in every 10 to 100 years in Japan. So which is affecting 168 sites of the Fujitsu and 280 sites of the group companies. These all own properties and major leased properties in the Fujitsu group. So for example, the domestic data centers business sites such as Fujitsu Solution Square and Kawasaki factory that will be heavily impacted by the flood. So what kind of measures that they took so far? So they constructed the four measures. The one is the retaining walls and embankments and the sliding gate. These are protecting the site perimeters of the Fujitsu Square buildings, and followed by the removal watertight panels and gates that can be raised and lowered. These are like protecting the perimeter entrance of the Kawasaki factory. These are best solutions so far the Fujitsu has been implemented to tackle with the risk associated to the potential waters flooding risk. And then move on to the fourth risk and measures related to the use of harmful chemical substances. The risk here that the Fujitsu group manage approximately 1300 types of chemical substances. It's a huge one because Fujitsu and their subsidiary companies, they are into the manufacturing of thousands of electronic consumer items every day. So in order to prevent the risk associated with the use of toxic chemical substances, the risks are like health issues and pollutions of the natural environment, etc. So what currently they are having a checklist of measures to address this risk. So Fujitsu operate a chemical information system called FACE, FACE, which means the Fujitsu used to register and monitor a chemical that at every site, controlling the purchase of unnecessary chemicals. Yeah, as per the global portal to pollutant release and transfer registry 2020-2021, the Fujitsu were able to limit the group-wide chemical substance emission to 6.1 tons from 7.4 tons. It's a huge reduction on the chemical substance use. So this all possible by standards follows by Fujitsu, which is based on ISO 14001 for minimizing the risks to the environment through continuous improvements on handling chemical substances. Yeah. Here are kind of a discussion from the Fujitsu forum, how they are prepared to address these all issues are so far happening in unforeseen events. So in the recent years, there have been significant increase in this risk of unforeseen events that threaten continued economic and social activities by to the Fujitsu. Yeah, such events include earthquake, floods, and natural disasters and accidents. And the reason, uh, the reason things called the pandemic involving infectious diseases, to ensure that Fujitsu and its group companies in Japan can continue to provide a stable supply of products and services to their customers, and offering the high level of performance and quality that customer requires. Even when such unforeseen circumstances occur, they have formulated business continuity plan called BCP, which is a way of continually reviewing and improving the risk management phases of the company. So it helps Fujitsu to continue a legitimate business services to the customers. That's it. Yeah. I hope you all got some information about what is risk management and how it is managed in Fujitsu Corporation. And thanks for this wonderful opportunity, and here the references. Thank you all. See you. Bye bye.